The person meant to marry you is someone familiar. Don't skip, my beloved child, stop for a moment and feel this. The universe is speaking directly to you, right now. There is something hidden in the fabric of your life, a quiet truth that's been waiting for the perfect moment to reveal itself. You may not have noticed it yet, but the cosmos has been aligning in ways you cannot yet see. Every heartbeat, every encounter, every sigh of longing, these are not random. They are whispers of destiny, hints from the divine, guiding you toward a reality far greater than you imagine. Today, you are being called to open your heart to a secret that has been veiled, something sacred that has been quietly forming in your life. And the message is clear, the person meant to marry you is someone familiar. Don't skip. Let those words settle inside you. Feel them resonate. The universe doesn't speak in vain. This is not a coincidence, and it is not too late. That someone, already woven into your life, already touching your soul in ways you may not have consciously realized, is stepping closer into alignment with your destiny. You may be searching in distant places, wondering if love will ever find you, if joy will ever arrive, if the right soul will recognize yours. But here is the revelation: love has always been near. The person meant for you is not a stranger across some vast horizon, they are hidden in plain sight. Connected to you in ways your heart has always known but your mind has yet to understand. There is an unseen thread that ties your lives together, a divine signal that you are being guided toward what you are ready to receive. Now is the time to awaken to this truth. Do not let doubt cloud your vision. Do not let fear distract you from what is already unfolding. Something profound is moving behind the curtain of your everyday life. The universe has been quietly preparing both of you, nurturing your paths so that when the moment comes, the meeting will feel inevitable, destined, and divinely orchestrated. Feel the hope that rises within you. The clarity that comes when you finally understand that love, in its most sacred and harmonious form, is closer than you think. There is purpose in every step you've taken, every challenge you've faced, and every longing you've carried. Your heart has been quietly waiting for this divine connection, and now, it is calling you forward. Watch this video fully, because what you are about to see may awaken the recognition in your heart, the confirmation in your spirit, and the clarity in your mind. Let this divine revelation guide you, let it bring peace to your longing, and let it open the door to something miraculous. If this message speaks to you, if your heart feels its truth, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Watch the complete video to fully uncover the hidden signs, the sacred timing, and the divine guidance that is meant to illuminate your path to love and destiny. The universe has spoken, listen carefully. I also want to pass on a time-sensitive message from the moon to you, and you need to hear it today. A subtle yet powerful energy will push you to make a critical decision by the end of the week. You won't find the answer in your horoscope, so don't bother looking there. Click the link in the description to see your free personalized video moon reading. I was amazed at how accurate my reading was, and I know you will feel the same. Listen closely, beloved, because this message is not arriving by accident. I see the moment you paused. I see the breath you took before continuing. I see the quiet curiosity stirring in your heart right now. This is not coincidence. This is alignment. I speak to you in the stillness between your thoughts, in the questions you have been carrying but haven't spoken out loud. You have wondered about love. You have wondered if what you felt was real, if what you lost was final, if what you are waiting for will ever arrive. I am here to tell you, nothing in your story has been wasted. You have asked me for clarity, sometimes with words, sometimes with tears, sometimes by simply staring into the distance and hoping I would understand what you couldn't explain. I understood. I always did. And now I am pulling back a veil, gently. Patiently, because your heart is ready to hear what your mind has been trying to figure out on its own. The one meant to walk beside you for life is not a stranger emerging suddenly from nowhere. They are not a mystery hiding in some far-off future that you must endlessly chase. They are familiar. And when you hear that, something in you reacts, because deep down, you already know. Familiar does not mean obvious. Familiar does not mean easy. Familiar means your soul recognizes their presence even when your logic tries to dismiss it. I have watched you overlook signs because they didn't arrive wrapped the way you expected. I have watched you pray for new beginnings while I was quietly refining something already near you. You asked me to remove confusion, yet you kept searching far away when the answer was closer than you thought. There is a reason certain faces have remained in your life. There is a reason certain names resurface in your thoughts during quiet hours. There is a reason some connections never fully fade, no matter how much time passes. Do not misunderstand me. Familiar does not mean perfect. It does not mean without history, without complications, without growth required. I do not write shallow stories. I write deep ones. The person meant to marry you is someone who has seen parts of you others never reached. They may have seen you before you were confident. Before you were healed. Before you knew your worth. And perhaps that is why the timing has felt off, because I was not only preparing them, I was preparing you. You have changed. You have grown in ways you don't even give yourself credit for. You have learned to set boundaries where you once begged. You have learned to listen where you once rushed. You have learned to let go of what hurts, even when it felt safer to hold on. That growth was necessary. Without it, you would not recognize the blessing standing near you now. I know you have questioned why certain connections felt intense but unfinished. Why conversations ended without closure. Why distance appeared where closeness once lived. But hear me clearly, separation is not always rejection. Sometimes it is protection. Sometimes it is preparation. Sometimes it is simply time doing its quiet work. The familiar one carries a reflection of you. Not a mirror, but a resonance. When you speak, something in them listens beyond words. When they laugh, something in you softens. When they are absent, there is a subtle awareness, not pain exactly, but a sense of something unresolved. That is not attachment. That is recognition. You have asked me, why would you place the one meant for me so close, yet make it feel so uncertain? And my answer is this: because love that lasts is not built on novelty alone. It is built on understanding, patience, shared seasons, and the willingness to grow together instead of apart. I do not rush what must endure. There were moments when you almost chose someone else just to quiet the waiting. Moments when you considered settling because it seemed easier than trusting my timing. I held you back not to punish you, but to spare you from a future that would have felt empty no matter how full it looked on the outside. You felt restless because your spirit knew the story wasn't finished yet. The familiar one has been learning too. They have been shedding fears you never saw, wrestling with doubts they never voiced, healing wounds they didn't know how to explain. I have been working in their silence just as much as I have been working in yours. When you felt forgotten, you were not. When they seemed distant, I was near. Do you remember the way certain conversations lingered in your mind long after they ended? The way a simple moment carried more weight than it should have. Those were not accidents. Those were whispers, gentle reminders that something meaningful was unfolding beneath the surface, even when circumstances didn't allow it to rise yet. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not missing out. Everything has been moving exactly as it needed to, even when it felt slow, even when it felt confusing. I see the full picture. You see only fragments. Trust me with the rest. The one meant to marry you is someone who knows your patterns, who has seen your defenses and your softness, who understands your humor and your silence. They are someone who challenges you without diminishing you, who steadies you without controlling you, who chooses you not because they need you to complete them, but because they want to walk with you. And yes, there were lessons disguised as detours. There were people who came into your life not to stay, but to teach you what you would no longer tolerate, what you truly value, and how deeply you can love when you stop abandoning yourself. Those lessons were not failures. They were foundations. I know you are tempted to ask when. I know you want timelines, confirmations, certainty. But love is not revealed all at once. It unfolds. And right now, what you are meant to receive is awareness, not arrival. Understanding, not the final scene. Pay attention in the coming days. Not with anxiety, but with openness. Notice who shows up in your thoughts without force. Notice who brings calm instead of chaos. Notice who feels like home rather than a performance. I am not asking you to chase. I am asking you to recognize, there will be a moment, quiet, unannounced, when something clicks. A realization that feels less like excitement and more like peace. Less like fireworks and more like certainty. That is how you will know. Not because everything is perfect, but because it is real. You have been braver than you realize. Waiting takes courage. Trusting me when you don't see the outcome takes faith. And you have done both, even on the days you felt unsure. I honor that. Do not rush ahead of me. Do not close your heart out of fear of disappointment. What is meant for you is not fragile. It will meet you where you are, not where you pretend to be. And when the time is right, familiarity will turn into clarity, and clarity into commitment, and commitment into a covenant that feels steady, grounded, and true. I am not finished speaking to you. There is more I want you to understand about the role you play in this unfolding, about the choice that will soon rest gently in your hands, about the way your past and your future are quietly converging even now. Stay with me. Keep listening. Because what comes next will explain why everything happened the way it did, and why the familiar presence you once questioned is about to reveal itself in a way you did not expect, at a moment when you least anticipate it, just as you are beginning to realize that the love you have been waiting for has been moving closer, step by step, through every season, every delay, every unanswered prayer. And it is now standing at the edge of your awareness, waiting for you to see, not with fear, not with doubt, but with the understanding that this story was never about searching farther, but about recognizing what has been drawing nearer all along. And as I continue to unfold this message, you will begin to see how even the smallest detail, the brief encounters, the pauses, the silence, and the moments you thought were endings were actually positioning you for the next revelation. Because what I am about to show you will change how you interpret the past and how you prepare for what is about to happen when the familiar becomes unmistakable and you finally understand why your heart has been gently guided to this very moment where everything begins to make sense. And before I go further, I need you to stay present with me, because the next part of this message will reveal what you must do when recognition turns into choice and how your response will shape what unfolds next. And this is where your attention matters most, because what comes after this is not something to rush through, not something to take lightly, but something to receive with patience, awareness, and trust, as I continue, because now I am speaking to the part of you that has grown quiet from waiting, the part that learned to protect itself by lowering expectations, the part that tells itself, if it happens, it happens. Even though deep inside you still hope, I see that hope. I placed it there. It is not weakness. It is not foolishness. It is a signal that your heart is still alive, still listening, still capable of receiving what I have been preparing, when recognition turns into choice. This is where many hesitate. Familiarity can feel safer than the unknown, but it can also feel riskier because it carries history. You know their tone. You know their flaws. You know the moments that didn't go as planned. And so your mind may try to warn you, saying, be careful. Remember what happened before. But hear me now, wisdom is not fear wearing a disguise. Wisdom listens without closing the door. Wisdom discerns without hardening the heart. The familiar one will not arrive as a dramatic interruption. They will not force themselves into your life. They will appear in a way that feels natural, almost ordinary, yet something in you will pause. A conversation will linger. A look will hold longer than expected. A moment will feel heavier, not with pressure, but with meaning. That is your spirit recognizing alignment. I am asking you to slow down when that moment comes. Do not rush to label it. Do not rush to test it. Do not rush to run from it. Let it breathe. Let it reveal itself layer by layer. Love that lasts does not demand urgency, it invites presence. You have learned how to survive on your own. That was necessary. Independence shaped you, but it was never meant to isolate you. The one meant to marry you will not compete with your strength, they will respect it. They will not try to replace your wholeness, they will complement it. Together does not mean diminished. Together means expanded. There will be a temptation to replay old narratives. What if this ends the same way? What if I misread this? What if I get hurt again? These questions are human. But they are not prophetic. They are echoes of earlier seasons. Do not let yesterday's storms convince you that every cloud carries the same rain. I have been teaching you discernment so you can recognize peace. Peace is not the absence of challenge, it is the absence of dread. When you think of the familiar one, notice what rises first, tension or calm, anxiety or steadiness. I often speak through what settles you, not what agitates you. The person meant to marry you is someone who will meet you in honesty. Not perfection. Not performance, but truth. They will be willing to have uncomfortable conversations. They will listen when it would be easier to defend. They will choose growth over pride. And you, too, will be asked to meet them there. Mutuality is sacred. There may be timing that still requires patience. I know that word has tested you. But patience is not waiting with folded hands, it is waiting with an open heart. There are final adjustments being made, small, unseen shifts that align paths and soften edges. Nothing is stagnant. Even when it looks still, it is moving. You do not need to orchestrate this. You do not need to manipulate circumstances or read signs obsessively. Trust has never been about control. It has always been about surrender. Let me bring clarity in the way that protects you, not overwhelms you, and understand this: familiarity does not erase choice. Recognition does not remove free will. When the moment comes, you will still decide how you show up, whether you lead with fear or faith, whether you guard or engage, whether you speak honestly or hide behind assumptions. Your response matters more than you realize. You have grown capable of love that is mature, patient, and grounded. You are no longer chasing intensity to feel alive. You are ready for depth, for partnership, for something that can weather seasons instead of burning out quickly. That readiness is not loud. But it is powerful. The familiar one may surprise you by how much they have changed. Or by how much they haven't, and how differently you now see it. Growth changes perspective. What once felt impossible may now feel workable. What once felt confusing may now feel clear. Do not confuse comfort with stagnation. True comfort allows movement. True love invites evolution. The one meant to marry you will not keep you small. They will encourage your becoming, even when it challenges them to grow as well. I know you have wondered if you missed your chance. Let me be clear: what is meant for you cannot pass you by. It can pause. It can detour. It can wait. But it does not disappear. I am not bound by timelines the way you are. I weave purpose through patience. There is a sacred humility required in lasting love, the willingness to be seen, to apologize, to learn. You have practiced this more than you know. Every disappointment refined you. Every delay deepened you. You are not the same person you were when this connection first entered your life, and that difference matters. Soon, you will notice a shift. Subtle, but unmistakable. Communication may reopen. Circumstances may align. Distance may soften. Or simply, understanding may arrive where confusion once lived. Do not dismiss small changes. Seeds do not announce themselves as forests. When that shift comes, remember this: you are not meant to relive the past. You are meant to build something new with the wisdom you now carry. Familiarity is the foundation, not the ceiling. I am asking you to trust me not only with the outcome, but with the process. There is intimacy in patience, beauty in unfolding, strength in waiting without closing your heart. Let love arrive at the pace it can sustain. You may feel moments of doubt again. That is not failure. Faith is not the absence of doubt, it is the decision to continue despite it. Speak to me in those moments. I am near. I have not gone silent. The one meant to marry you is being drawn closer, not by force, but by alignment. The same quiet pull you feel, they feel too. The same questions, the same reflections. The same sense that something meaningful is unfinished. This connection is not one-sided. I do not write imbalanced stories, and when clarity fully arrives, when familiarity transforms into certainty, you will understand why nothing else fit quite right. Why distractions fell away. Why timing resisted you. Why your heart never fully settled elsewhere. It was not stubbornness. It was guidance. This is not about perfection. It is about presence. It is about two people choosing to grow instead of run, to communicate instead of assume, to build instead of abandon. That choice is sacred. That choice is powerful. Stay attentive, not anxious. Open, not guarded. Hopeful, not demanding. You are closer than you think, not to an ending, but to a beginning that feels earned, grounded, and real. I am still with you. I am still guiding. And there is more I need you to understand about how to recognize the exact moment when waiting turns into action, about the signs that will confirm it is time to step forward rather than step back, about the quiet courage it will require from you when opportunity finally meets readiness, because that moment will not be loud or dramatic, but it will ask something of you. And how you respond will shape what follows. And this is why I need you to remain present, because the next revelation will speak directly to what you must release, what you must embrace, and how to move without fear when familiarity finally becomes the doorway rather than the question. And as I continue to speak, you will begin to see how everything has been preparing you not just for love, but for the responsibility of love, the stewardship of connection, and the grace to choose wisely when the path opens and the familiar one stands before you not as a memory, not as a possibility, but as a living choice. And before I say more, stay with me, because what comes next will require your full attention as I reveal how to walk into this season without sabotaging what I have so carefully aligned, and this is where many hesitate, and this is where clarity becomes essential. And I am about to show you, because now the moment arrives where understanding must become embodiment, where insight must turn into action, and where faith must step out of theory and into lived experience. I am not asking you to rush, but I am asking you to be honest with yourself. When the familiar one stands before you in clarity, not as a memory, not as a question, but as a present reality, you will feel a quiet invitation. Not pressure. Not confusion. An invitation. This invitation will not shout. It will whisper. It will say, be real. It will say, stay. It will say, speak truth even when your voice shakes. And this is where your growth will matter most. Love that is meant to last is not sustained by emotion alone. It is sustained by choice, humility, and courage. You must release the version of yourself that needed certainty before commitment. Certainty is not the foundation of love, trust is. You will never know everything in advance. You will not see every challenge ahead. But you will sense whether you are walking toward peace or away from it. That discernment is enough. There is something you must let go of now, the belief that love must prove itself through struggle. I never designed love to be punishment. Growth can be challenging, yes, but it does not require chaos. You are allowed to choose what feels steady. You are allowed to choose what feels kind. You are allowed to choose what allows you to breathe. The familiar one will not complete you, because you are already whole. But they will join you in building something that neither of you could build alone. Partnership is not dependence, it is cooperation. It is two people facing life side by side rather than back to back. When old fears resurface, and they may, do not let them drive. Acknowledge them, then gently place them aside. Fear speaks loudly but sees narrowly. Love speaks softly but sees far. Let love lead. You will be tempted to overanalyze signs, replay conversations, measure effort. Release that habit. Presence reveals more than analysis ever will. Be where you are. Listen. Respond honestly. Allow things to unfold without gripping them too tightly. There will be a moment when you are asked, silently or directly, to step forward emotionally. To stop holding back just in case. To offer sincerity without guarantees. This is not foolishness. This is faith in action. Guard your boundaries, yes, but do not build walls where doors are meant to be. You do not need to impress the one meant to marry you. You need to be true. Pretense attracts confusion. Authenticity attracts alignment. Let yourself be known, not curated. Remember this. Love grows where safety and truth meet. Be a safe place. Seek a safe place. Safety is not perfection, it is consistency, respect, and care, there may be external noise, opinions, timing pressures, expectations. Filter them through wisdom. Not everyone will understand your path, and they do not need to. This story was written for you, not for approval. I want you to understand something deeply now. Marriage is not the reward at the end of waiting. It is the beginning of shared stewardship. It is waking up each day choosing patience, choosing forgiveness, choosing growth. The one meant to marry you is someone willing to do that work with you, not someone expecting ease without effort. You are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where preparation meets opportunity. And what lies ahead is not a fantasy. It is a grounded, living relationship built on recognition, choice, and commitment. When doubt whispers, return to what brings peace. When fear resurfaces, remember how far you have come. When hesitation arises, ask yourself whether it is wisdom, or simply the echo of old wounds that no longer define you. I have walked with you through every season, the loneliness, the confusion, the letting go, the rebuilding. I did not abandon you in the waiting. I was shaping you. And now, the season is changing. The familiar one is not a test. They are not a trick. They are not a consolation prize. They are a continuation of growth, of healing, of purpose. And you will know it not by intensity, but by steadiness. Not by urgency, but by peace. Let go of the need for dramatic confirmation. Quiet alignment is still alignment. Gentle clarity is still clarity. As you step into this next chapter, carry humility. Carry patience. Carry joy. Love is not something to fear when you have learned to stand firmly in who you are. You are allowed to hope again, wisely, openly, bravely. You are allowed to choose love without abandoning yourself. You are allowed to build something lasting, and now, hear me clearly as I close this message. You are not searching for love anymore. You are learning to recognize it. What is meant for you is moving toward you with intention, familiarity, and purpose. When the moment comes, trust the peace I place within you. Walk forward without rushing. Without retreating, without fear. I am with you in this. I always have been. And now, the message is complete. Amen.